Yeah, I've heard this a lot of times. Like, yo, we'll get you whatever you want. All right, yeah, whatever. 2 weeks later, somebody was at my door. And I was like, oh, these guys wasn't playing. Give me 20 joints.
20 bricks of coke.
Yeah. And then it all came to a head during COVID. December 2019, wholesale bricks of cocaine in New York City was going for about 28,000, right? By April, that went to 50. So I took one brick, we made 10. January to July, I put about 2 million cash in my pocket. Yeah, it was crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie. It was that was a time that was, man, get ready. That's what we made the movie about.
Today I sat down with Polo Cisneros, a former coke dealer from New York City who made millions of dollars selling cocaine during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. From April 2020 until the end of that year, the cocaine shortage in New York City and throughout the rest of the country was so severe that kilo prices shot up to $50,000, like it was the 1970s again. But lucky for Polo, he had a supplier who was still getting product in, and over the summer of 2020 alone, he made $2 million selling stepped-on kilos throughout New York City. Wild. Polo has since gotten out of the game and become a filmmaker. In fact, he has a movie coming out about his life, Dissection of the Dollar, which is releasing on June 11th on Tubi, so make sure to hit the link in the description to sign up for alerts when it drops. And make sure to follow him on all socials where he puts up short films and documentaries. He's a very talented guy. All right, everyone, get ready to hear some game. It's Polo Cisneros right here on The Connect with Johnny Mitchell. What's up, everybody? Thanks so much for watching. As always, please smash that like button, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that alert bell. You know what to do. And just a quick little disclaimer before we get started. I went and rewatched this episode. I interrupted and talked over my guest a little more than I'm comfortable with, so I do apologize for that. It's just when my man Polo came in, it was like talking to a friend. You know, I forgot the mics and the cameras were on, and we were just kind of chopping it up about game and about the drug game. And I just related very much to everything he said. So, yeah, I wasn't as professional as I would have liked to have been. So anyways, you could just tell me how much I suck in the comments. But, you know, I did my best. And you guys are going to love it. Go check out his movie. Go follow him. This is an incredible story. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in every week. Enjoy.
33. I'm going to give it to you, hit a little bit. I'm going to give it to you like 27. Yeah. So you can still make a couple points, make your money, break it down. And I didn't like all clients. I didn't want someone who necessarily is going to take the most. I just want someone who I can see who's moving responsible.
That's it.
So I'd rather take somebody who's consistently picking up 1 or 2 bricks a month than someone who's taking 10 but moving irrational.
Right.
They doing too much. I don't want that attention near me. So my run was really more calculated.
That's right. I always steady. Yeah.
And I had the flow. You gotta have 2 flows. I looked at you gotta have like a hub flow, because that's what's gonna keep you. That's like your low margins, but it's it's gonna keep your flow going.
Your wholesale flow.
Yeah, because then you can afford to have then a good connect's gonna find you. Because if I'm only picking up 1 brick a month, I'm not gonna get a better number, right? So if I have a wholesale flow, I'm eventually going to outrun that connect and find the one that fits right. Right. So but my breakdown flow was crazy. I had, a couple little towns that I would, a couple spots in Jersey that I just knew people there. And I loved that white market, the weekend warrior market.
Of course.
The Wall Street client, the ones who want to pay more for the secrecy, more for they don't want a problem.
Discreetness.
Discreetness. So I'd have our cats actually are like local bars, little Applebee's. You find the construction worker crowd, the working crowd. Construction workers, they get out of work at 2:30, they go to the bar, they drink till 7, 8. They might spend, $200 a day. You catch a bartender who's somewhat smart. That's what I look for. I look for people who are smart, right? Everyone wants to make a little bit of money. I'm not greedy. So I just say, yo, you can take this and give me that. So, if I make $1,000 a week off of this little bar, maybe $2,500 off of a bartender at a strip club, a couple direct clients that maybe they wanted the raw, and that raw price is 100 a gram. I'm moving 10, 20 grams, my margins are huge. And it just consistently just adds up. And I got the wholesale flow making 5 points on a brick. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. That's great for just passing a brick off.
It's good and bad, because when you have work that's hit, you're usually gonna front it out.
Yeah.
So my thing was always like, I gotta turn this brick over like 3 times with this customer until I'm even. Because I'm always building in that loss. Because eventually I knew something's gonna go wrong. It just, I'm like I say, I think about like, I know what I'm doing, so let me save that money I'm making. So I know when eventually, if it's a year later, 6 months, a year later, 2 years later, when that loss comes, and that guy goes, damn man, some shit happened. It's not that it's all good. It's like, I would be like, yo, that's your responsibility, but you still got your flow, right? Everything's still safe. I'm gonna give you more work. People look at me like, yo, you crazy, this guy's lost the whole bird. I'm gonna give you more work, because it's all profit.
That's it.
And just add a little bit extra on. Instead of giving me back 33, you know, give me back 35, and work it off. So it was very easy to work, but I wasn't like an ego.
Right.
I didn't come into this game, I'm not no tough guy. I'm not no, you know what I'm saying, like, give me my money, I'm gonna shoot. That's not I didn't play it that way. I'm far from a pussy. I ain't never been robbed, but I did not carry myself in a way where it was like, you know, trying to come out for a rep. You know what I'm saying? That shit wasn't. Yeah. All I did was, when I first learned how to cut cocaine, which was like, I say the right way, like 2013, you know, with the comeback cut, they call, Dominican just call Masu Kama. And that shit right there, the cut comes back. Cause right, when people buy a bird, they drop it, yo, it didn't lose any, it's raw. It's raw. You know, it's like, so when I learned how to use that type of cut, and you know, I never thought I would go broke, cause
so you saw, you know, you were in the game, you're one of these rare birds where you never did a bid, you were in the game for almost 2 decades. And it's interesting because you saw the different eras and the different cycles of drug use. Because cocaine, I believe, went out of favor, you know, somewhere between 2004 when you first got in and, you know, around the pandemic or shortly thereafter, coke fell out of favor and wasn't moving as much, you know, in between those years. Fentanyl came much later. Opioids became a huge thing. So you've kind of seen like the market go up and down. I mean, it's incredible. And you have this encyclopedic knowledge of kind of how drug dealing really works. Who'd you learn it from? And you're Dominican?
No. So I'm a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? I'm Filipino, Spanish, and black. So it's a little bit of everything. And
you came up where? Where in New York?
Well, I was born in Manhattan, but I was raised in Jersey, actually. And I was always back and forth. You know, I used to be a barber. That's like the only real job I had. So, but when you learn the game, it's on, you got to pick it up. Like, you got to pick it up from different people, because no one's going to really teach you. So you kind of just got to be cool. And me, I'm always observing. So I like to watch. Cocaine was very steady for me throughout those years. It's just after COVID, that's when the cocaine market, I mean, I exited the game by that time already. But the cocaine market changed so much because it got flooded.
Yeah, you were telling me that. You said like the streets almost don't even want to bother with coke now because it's just the price is so low. Yeah,
like I said, like, you know, I've been out the game for a while now. But, you know, you still hear things. And you can see how the flow has changed, and, you know, numbers have dropped drastically. And so when, you know, you got so much supply and demand is low, right? You know, it forced a lot of people to you know, move differently. The only people that are surviving now is the people who got the good breakdown flows. Right. Because there's so much wholesale out there. Right. As far as like how I learned it, I started out learning it. You picture when you're younger, you know, you start selling weed. Everyone starts selling weed when they're younger, you know what I mean? And I always knew, like, if you're selling weed in the area, I'm gonna try to get it from someone else and put everyone around me on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Me, I don't smoke. I never really did no drugs, so that's not my thing. I just like making money. So when I started cutting hair, you know, I met a lot of connects through that. I remember going, you know, and I was the type of person, let's go get it. And, you know, I'll just buy like an ounce, 100 grams at a time of coke. And I would, you know, bring that down, break it down like everyone else does. So, but then probably around 2000, like I said, 13, I had met someone, and they were like, asked me about the cut. Like I told you, the masu. And I didn't know how to use it. I had someone approach me with that. This Arabic guy, he had a store downtown Manhattan, like a smoke shop. They sell all the cut. So I'm in there, and he's like this. I'm like, yo, I tried using it. I didn't know how to work it. So I gave it to my boy that I had met through his cousin I used to work in a barbershop with. He was from the Bronx. So I went up there, and he's like, nah, let me see it. I'll show you how to work it. Come to find out, he was getting charged $5 a gram for the masu. This is back then when it was still kind of rare.
Wow.
So I had a connect for $1 a gram. I say, yo, I just keep giving it raw because it's, at that time I was probably making maybe like, I don't know, maybe like $2,000 a week off the blow. Like just breaking it down, $1,500 to $2,000. You know what I mean? Plus I was still cutting hair a little bit. I was sounding a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But it changed when I really learned. He told me come to his crib in the Bronx, and he showed me how to break down a whole brick of raw and repress it. And he only showed me that because he's tried to sell me that brick he beat up. And I was like, nah, bro, that shit touched. I got the raw. So I brought him some of my shit thinking I could give him a better number. And he was like, oh, so you already getting it raw? I'm like, yeah. So he's like, well, yo, look at this. And that's when he showed me, yo, I pressed it up. In my head, I'm thinking this motherfucker was trying to get me, but all good. Let me see what he got. I stayed at his house for 2 days. We pressed up like 10 joints. Because he originally wanted me to work with him. He's like, well, which I did in the beginning to see if it would really work. He was like, yo, here, take these 2 joints, get rid of them, come back, and we'll split the PC.
And the cut is just a white chemical or a white, it's usually like a supplement that they cut coke with.
It's not the inositol, because before that, people would use inositol you get from GNC.
Right.
People still use that for like the sniffers, but when you put it in water, you're going to lose it. So this is something different. I don't know what the it is. I mean, I don't know. I even went to, but it just, the price on that came down so much, it was like, who cares? Masu, that's what they call it.
Right.
But so the way I learned, I saw how to do it. He would cook the masu separately. When you cook it, it crystallizes. When you take it out, when you take it off the heat and you throw acetone in, it crystallizes. It looks like glass. And so we break that up. And the perfect mixture we and him found was you take 300 grams of coke out. We put 300 grams of cut in. That's a lot of points right there.
Totally.
So, but after I saw that, oh, this guy's shit works, I was like, bro, I'm already getting raw. So let me just go in with you. And he was like, all right, cool. So he taught me, he did teach me something. I learned a lot of people by just watching them. And like, he was the first person who was like, yo, I don't like having work, money, because I can spend it. I like having work. Because eventually, in all them years, maybe like 2 or 3 times a year, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, I would see all my money. Because there'll be a little drought for like a month, 2 months.
Right.
And that's when you can up the number. So you always got to have, that's why I like consistent clients, because if I got 3 clients and they all taking, 1 to 2 bricks a month, I can plan ahead. I don't need no more clients. You know what I mean? And I got my breakdown flow. So that's how you would see your money, right?
Right.
So he did teach me that. Just, just make sure you have work. Just have a little bit of money to pay the bills, lawyer just in case. Right. Take care of the families. At the end of the day, I'm a family man, Yeah. I wasn't outside doing stupid shit. You wasn't going to see me on the block hanging out. You wasn't going to ever see me with a gun. If I had to go to a gun somewhere, I was not going. Yeah. How come I gotta go somewhere if I need a gun? I mean, maybe 1 or 2 times when it's like some shit you can't avoid. But God willing, for me, I just was cool, man. I ain't, I just like doing business.
So you found this mix that was stepped on quite a bit. You're stepping on a whole third of a brick when you take out 300 grams. But why were your customers loving it so much? Because it was still good, and then they could get it off to like their crack dealers? Or who are your customers? How are they mainly getting off their work if it was already cut by at least a third?
All right, so most of the time, raw coke wasn't like the easiest thing to come by until like, it's like you had to know a lane for that, right? It's just different now, but like I said, it's everywhere, it's flooded. But during most of those times, like, that work was raw. So when you cut it a third, it was still good enough for the street. You couldn't cut it again, but it was good enough. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'd have to put a little less cut just to know the market, but it was good. Because most of the time people don't know good cocaine and bad cocaine.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? They don't know what the they sniffing. So it's like, and even when you're cooking it, you can tell, but it's here and it's consistently here. So that's why, just make it work.
Right.
Because most of the time, coke you getting out there is garbage anyway.
Yeah. So your connect had to be really good. The person hitting you off with raw, that had to be 90% pure.
Yeah.
If you were going to put 300 on it.
Yeah. Most time it's always really good. I never had just one connect.
Who were your connects?
I had like 2 or 3 connects I met over the years. Solid peoples.
Are these Dominican guys, black guys?
Everything under the sun. Sometimes you get work from. I look like just 2 ways to get work. That eventually either comes through the Caribbean, DR, PR, and comes here, or you get it from West. You get it from the Mexicans that way.
Right.
So, it doesn't have to come, but when it comes through Mexico, it's always better. If it comes through PR and DR, they done touched it over there. Y'all done played with it over there. Y'all know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all compressed it too much.
Right.
And then but when you get it from the Mexico side, it's some big, fluffy joints that are just beautiful.
That's because they have other drugs that they make money from, so they don't have to make as much money on coke, so they can send more of it, and it's better. I think the Dominican guys, the Puerto Ricans, all they have is coke.
I felt like,
so they have to touch it more. They feel like they have to touch it more.
I felt like with the Mexicans was more like there was more discipline. Like they couldn't pick and choose. Like I'm gonna just press this up because someone's gonna get in trouble. There was a small part in time when I had a Mexican I knew. I don't know if he was a cartel person, nothing like that. But it was like almost to the point where I was like, I'd rather just. I'm good, bro. Like that shit was a little bit for me. I was like, I'm not trying to take it to that level. I'm gonna go back with the Dominicans or whoever I can just buy it from cash.
Do the wholesalers in New York, at least at this time, do they seem to be mostly Dominicans?
Dominicans, man, they go hard. They got a grip on a lot, man. So.
But why is that? Is that just because they have the most people willing to push it to that limit, or do they have a special connection with the Puerto Ricans who have the route bringing it in from Puerto Rico? Because Puerto Rico, if you get your bricks to Puerto Rico, they say they have a way better chance of making it to the States because the cargo ships,
they check them.
They don't check them as thoroughly because they're domestic. They're not international. So do you know why the Dominicans tend to be the big wholesalers in the New York area?
Man, that's like asking what came first, the chicken or the egg. It's whatever. I feel like if I learn anything in the game, it's whatever goes, as long as you can figure it out. So I met some people in Puerto Ricans that was fires, Dominicans. I met some brothers that was had it. It's just however you get it, you gotta just know what you buying. Number one, don't get played, and yeah, definitely the ones from Mexico was fire. Like the one time I had went in 2015, I had bought some land in Colorado to do the marijuana grow. Didn't really work out. We had 50 acres we bought in Yoder, Colorado. You can look that up. Yoder, Colorado. That shit is in the middle of nowhere. Like that shit, I saw a line at a Subway over there. Only time in my life you see a line at a Subway on a Friday night because ain't nothing else out there. So I'm over here, I'm already thinking I'm gonna get smoked out here. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. One of these cowboys gonna kill my ass.
Right.
But we out there, we have 50 acres, right? We had to build telephone poles, all that shit, because it was raw land. Put trailer out there, had 2 grows, but the partners were greedy. The neighbors next to us were these Mexicans, cool as fuck. They had 300 acres. They had excavators, so one of the people who was building them, I think he borrowed one of the machines. So I'm over there chopping up here, talking with him. And that's when me and him got close, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, we just chilling, maybe 1-2 times, hanging out. Yeah. We'd go out to the clubs, whatever. And then, we and him just got cool, and he's gonna come out to Houston with me. All right, well, I'm not thinking nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? I go out to Houston. I'm like, where should I stay at? You know what I mean? I'm gonna get a hotel. No one will pick you up. I was a little like, I don't know, but my curiosity got the best of me. It was fire. Went out there, took me to his house at a big-ass crib. We was chilling. And, I never been in a strip club that long my whole life. We was there for 11 hours, and that's where he did his business at. Everyone came through, talked. And they was kind of like, telling me what's up. And I'm thinking, I've heard this a lot of times. Like, we'll get you whatever you want. All right, yeah, whatever. Nah, like, sorry. Like, when I got there, we was talking. I had to give him my ID and everything, too. When they went back to his crib, we were talking and just that. And then I'm thinking, whatever. I think he gonna send me something. Like 2 weeks later, somebody was at my door. And I was like, oh, these guys wasn't playing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, what'd they send you?
Give me 20 joints.
Wow.
Yeah.
20 bricks of coke.
Yeah.
And they sent to New Jersey. Or to your spot in Colorado.
No, to Jersey, to my place in Jersey. But it was just someone knocking at my door with a bag. Like, yo, here. And I was like, oh, they wasn't playing. And he's like, oh, I told you. And the number was so good, it scared me a little bit. I was like, oh, it was 22.5, the number. Wow. At that time, shit was like in the 30s.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, what the f-? And I'm like, how do you buy, And it blew my mind too. He gave me an email. He was like, yo, when you go on the email, go to the draft and type anything. Don't send it. And he's like, yo, we'll come back and get the bread.
Yeah.
But for me, that was it. So I put 1 point on it, got rid of them joints. All right, I gave it to him thinking I'm gonna have to call up for another one. Nope. They just sent another one.
So why'd you only make a point off that? Why didn't you, if you had the raw?
I wanted to pay him their money.
So you wanted to get it to him fast.
Yeah. I could already tell someone giving you that many, that's 20,000. If I'm making 1 point every break, you give me 20, that's 20,000. Right. So.
Right. And now you just made all this new clientele.
Oh, no. Hell no. I didn't mean no. I just saw the people. It ain't about making new clients.
But you help when you give your people work that good at that generous ticket.
I gave it out to one person. I gave it to 2 people. Most of it, I gave it to people who were giving me the code. I sold it to them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So they just gave that. Every cartel story is the same. That's how I know you're telling the truth, is because it all starts with a knock at the door and some tiny little indigenous Mexican guy like DoorDash dropping you off fronted work.
But this guy looked like he was white. I ain't gonna lie. He looked like the Mexico City ones.
I'm just racist. Sorry.
No, he was looking like one of them. Because when you go to Mexico, it's like you have, I don't know where the ones where we see the most times is the ones, you know what I mean?
Right.
Are like looking one way, but then you go to like Mexico City and they look like European.
Did you know where the organization was that your man from Houston was working with? What part of Mexico? Was it Sinaloa, Juarez?
I didn't ask no questions. He was cool. RG was cool as hell. Me and him was just kind of cool relationship, but he just, did what he did. So I tried to ask as least questions as possible. So he gave me 2 loads that way, and I would have to go back to Colorado. We were kicking it,
right,
talking, and then, you be around his people, it was a lot, and I just kind of saw how, like, they did business a little bit, and that's why, my thing with them, dead ass honest with you, I came in this game to make money. I'm not trying to be no gangster, nothing like that. So, like, I always had a feeling they was going to ask me to do something that I didn't want to do. I didn't come in this game to do. And I feel like if they asked me that, what am I going to say no at that time? Because they already know where you live. I got a wife, I got a kid at the time, you know what I mean? A wife at the time, now it's my daughters live with me. So I'm like,
so you were bringing them $450,000 back to Colorado?
No, they would pick the money up, right, from me. Same way they drop it off. Some guy would just come pick it up. But I had to go to Colorado for the weed stuff I was still doing.
Right.
And me and him would kick it all the time. I'd come to Houston, party, because he loved to party. Dude was just like, he loved the party. So we chilling, but then I'd be with him, and he'd be, I'm like, yo, what's up, what's good? And he'd be like, nah, there's a problem over here. And I try not to be I don't hear no evil, speak no evil, but I just had that feeling like, you know what, these guys are going to ask me to do something. Because one time they asked me, yo, can you just hold something for someone? And I'm like, I didn't want to do that shit, but in my head, I was like, they gave me that look like, you hold this for someone. And I'm like,
somebody's head?
No,
in an icebox?
No, it was work. It was some work for someone, but I was like, I don't want to, I don't like getting caught in other people's webs.
Right.
If I'm doing what I'm doing, you can only plan for so much, but if like a whole nother person comes see you, you pick up a whole new client. I really thought a lot about that, because it's like when you open a door, you don't know what's coming through that door. So I was very selective.
Yeah.
In my whole time, it's like I passed on a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I also look at it like I passed on a lot of time that way, because
that is the smartest way to move. Almost nobody can do it, including myself when I was in the game. I could never pass on money. And that's the problem. It's not all money is good money, especially not in the dope game. So you felt like these guys were going to ask you to like be on some murder shit, or
whatever it was. I always trust my gut. I always trust my gut. And thank God RJ Meaning was mad cool. I was like, yo, he knew I was flipping homes.
Right.
So I was like, yo, I'm about to just go doing that. And he was just laughing at me like, man, you going to come back. You going to come back. And I was still doing my thing, but I just didn't let him know that, like, you know what I mean? And,
So you're the height of your run, almost 20 years, is in the teens where you figured out how to press Coke. Tell us about the pressing it up. Tell us about, how you grew your business and how you laundered your money. It's fascinating.
All right, so when you breaking up a brick, it's not that hard. Like, let's say I'll keep it simple. Let's say I get one brick. I don't want to make it into, I want to stretch it. So I'll take the 300 grams out. I'll grind that up. Not like super fine, but I'll mash it up good, put it through a sifter, and then I'll mix in. I'll probably keep 100 out of the, let's say 700 grams I got. I'll keep that, like 100 of that to the side. And then I'll mix in the cut with the other 6. So now I got 9 mixed up. You get the box. I have my boxes custom made, so they're all aluminum, and they come together. I'll put that together, and I'll use a little acetone. I used to like mixing acetone and paint thinner a little bit. You put this special paper, like crepe paper, they call it.
Wow.
Gives us the wrinkles on the side. Little tip, y'all can use a wife beater too. Take a wife beater and just put it at the bottom of the box. Wet it up a little bit. You don't want too much acetone. You could burn it. A little bit. And I'll put a layer, push it down with a spoon,
And paint thinner, what is that doing?
Paint thinner and acetone mixed together to evaporate so much because you need something to bind it. So after you make the layers, right? Then on the top, I'll pick whatever stamp I want. I'll make my own stamps. Everything from shark stamps to band signs, whatever you want.
What do you do with the 100 grams extra?
I'll sprinkle that on after I'll put in between each layer. As well as we'll use get some fake fish scale, and I put that in there too. So and then also put the holes on the side. That section of the dial of the movie, you see it in there. I recreated the scene.
What is that about? Holes in the side?
A lot of times you get the bricks and you get the joints, they'll have like holes in the side. I don't know why. Like, a lot of times I have like little holes in the side. You might even get it. They might have like a little bit of dirt in them from processing them. They be wrapped in rubber crazy. You had the brick. So I used to recreate all that. We used to get rubber balloons, wrap it up, throw some dirt in there, coffee to make that shit look. But I never lied to no one. I always told people, I hit them. I had partners of mine who didn't do it. They would be lying to people, and the shit would come back to them. I always thought, like, the truth, no matter who I'm dealing with, if you're dealing with someone who's real, you can only respect the truth. So I'm telling you, I hit this shit.
But what is the point of recreating a brick like it just came over from across the border? What is the point of recreating that? That's marketing. That's just like a marketing gimmick. What is the point of being honest if you're marketing, which is lying?
I'm being honest to you. I don't know what you're going to do with it. I don't care what you do unless you ain't going to have no problem with me. I'll deal with a lot of real people, but I'm a real person myself, meaning real is true to myself. But a lot of people I deal with, they the same way, but they take it in a different way. When you lie to someone, you give them your word. You know what I mean? Like I had my man in Trenton one time. We had this song, and he was like, "Yo, this shit up." You know what I mean? And I was like, "Go here, I can give him back all his cash." I took the work, I reworked it, I gave it back to him. He was like, "Yo, that's some real shit."
So, and what is your profit margin like that? Like a normal month? When you're just not dealing with the Mexican connects, when you're just dealing with connects in New York. What do you take off of that? What kind of money do you see?
Profit wise, say you running around like 20 to 30,000 a month. You know what I mean? That's after you get your re-up money back, and that brick that I'm breaking down might take a little bit longer than a month to come back, but some a little bit faster. But yeah, I'd say consistently we could round it to 20 to 25,000 a month profit, clean. Which when you break it down, it's not that much money. So it's really about what you save it. Then you might have a good month, you make a little extra. So it's almost like that's how I'm living. You make a couple $100,000 a year, but we all got families. I wasn't really doing too much stupid shit. Yeah, I like to live nice place, nice cars, but nothing crazy. I wasn't having no Lambos off of that. I had, me, a Benz and a Beamer. You know what I mean? My daughter's in private school. Wife home chilling. You know what I mean? My favorite thing about that was that it afforded me the time to be with my daughter. I love being a father, so it afforded the time. And no joke, having my daughter kept me alive at least 3 times. Because otherwise I would have been, or one, and then the other time could have got locked up because I would have been there if it wasn't the fact that, I got my daughter's soccer game, I got this, you know what I mean? So I would look at what's the use of money if you're not. That's why I never really got into the dope game, because it was like, number one, I feel like it brings you bad omens, and number two, it's like you can't do that alone. You can't. The way I sold coke alone, you could do it alone. You could cut it up. You could put it out there. With dope, you need a whole table. You need a crew, and someone's dying in that game. So for me, the coke was easy. So
talking about heroin, why? Because you need a whole team because it's so strong, and it takes so many people to cut it up and give it out.
Yeah, it takes a lot to make them little bags. It takes a lot of time to make. It's a full-time job. People will have a table, just packing little bags, and then they just distributing that. And the way it works now in that game is like people will front a lot of it. They'll be like, "Yo, here, take 200-300 bricks," and not like the big brick. I'm talking like the package, like the bundles.
Right.
Take these. You know what I mean? And then if it doesn't work, if it doesn't pop off, they'll give it back and they'll rework them.
Right.
And when I saw that stuff. And number one, someone's always dying in that game. I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. It wasn't. I didn't learn that game like that.
Like getting killed or overdosing or
both. I think death brings more death. Same thing. Violence brings more violence. That's why I never really like to play it that way. Right. I've had times when a situation got like where it wasn't for me. Like there's situations where I got too much. I had a couple spots out of town. People try to come press that spot or we got to pay this. Nah, I just close up shop or go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm not into this to have no ego and no name. And especially if I know shit's getting hot, I'm getting the out of there. I got money saved up. I can just chill, lay low for a couple months if I had to.
Yeah.
I always thought about it like a businessman, Yeah.
It's never worth, violence is never worth it. I'll just leave and go somewhere else. If you have the best product at the lowest price, there is never a reason to be violent.
Look, drugs sell themselves.
That's it.
This is something that I always call myself into. Because like, are you a real hustler? Because drugs sell themselves for the most part. Everything else is the hard part, the logistics. How do you not get caught? When you really doing it, when I really doing it, I had 2 cars, which just for stashed cars. I had 3 storage units. I had a parking garage where I would just constantly be moving stuff around. I had 2 apartments, one for hit work and one where I keep, some other shit at. So you had to, I invested my own money into my operation.
Security.
Yeah, so you want to make sure everything is separate. I have a car. If I'm going what's wanted, I'm not even going to bring that car over here. I'm going to make sure it stays over there. And it's like, how are you going to register that car? Whose name you going to put it in? Whose name you going to get this apartment in? It's a lot to it. That's why like logistics is a big, I'm good with it. And that's honestly the part I like, figuring it out that way. It just could have been drugs. It could have been something else. It could have been the films and movies we making. It could be a lot of things. It's just making sure you're on top of your business. And
would you think about the worst case scenario when you were plotting out how you were your chess moves? Would you think about, okay, if the cops hit this, it won't lead them to this. If I get locked up, they won't get that. Did you think like that, or did you try not to think about the worst case scenario because you're putting it out there, you're manifesting it?
No, I'm not manifesting it, but I'm always I'm a realist. Like you can only do the best you can do. It's like this, right? When you first get into the game, let's say you got like a couple joints in your car, you driving, you might be nervous, like, oh, I got some shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But eventually, if you don't learn how to manage that pressure without it destroying you, because that pressure's there all the time. It's just how do you handle it, right? I gotta know I did the most I can prepare for, but it could go left. You know what I mean? I could be sitting. So let me make sure I don't have more than I can sit with. If I can't deal with the consequences of my actions, I'm not gonna do it. That's the same reason why I got out the game, because I realized I'm not willing to no longer take these chances. So that means I can't be in the game, because what's that mean? I'm never gonna snitch. So it's like, but I'm never gonna put myself in a position if I'm not willing to accept the consequences of it.
You said that you would only keep like 5 kilos at a time, because then you knew, all right, if I get locked up, it's only going to be so many points, right? Like you tried to stay under the mandatory minimums.
Yeah, under the mandatory minimum, but I rarely had to serve more than 5 bricks ever. Maybe only during COVID, it got a little crazy, but even then I would do it differently. I would always make them give me the money first.
Right.
Someone told me like, yo, no one give these, like the feds, they won't give up the money.
The marked money.
Yeah, someone told me they won't give up the money. So I was always like, yo, if I wasn't sure, like, let's say me and you were cool, right? And you bring me a deal. I don't want to meet your man. Yeah, that's your man. You make the money. I don't want to give him extra points. If he don't trust you, then I'm not going to serve you that shit, because that means that's your man don't even trust you. It don't make sense to me. Or if you're trying to feel someone out, I get it. It's in the beginning, you're trying to feel him out, make him give you the money. Make them give you the money and leave with you. Tell them to come back in the morning. And if you want to do that, this ain't worth it. I like to go home.
Because if he's working with the feds and they're not going to let a CI just take $30,000 worth of their money and go run off with it. That's super interesting.
That's what I was told. That's what I told. I told sometimes the feds might do it, might not, but I know state police, local police never will.
Right.
So that's what I was told. And that was one rule. Someone else told me a rule like, yo, don't ever break more than one rule at a time. And I always liked that.
That's great because you're going to have to break some of your rules.
You got to break. You riding dirty, put that seatbelt on. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And don't keep the money where you keep the work at.
Right.
Don't be like, after I bag everything up, I took time to vacuum seal all my shits.
Yep.
I don't even know if it worked, but I did it just to make my own self feel.
Right.
Especially when you ride, when you driving to Pittsburgh, you driving to, PA, South Jersey, North Carolina. You driving to these places, you want to feel like if I'm going somewhere, I'm going there for what? I'm going to hang out, have a good time. I don't care what I'm really doing there. But in my head, when I'm on that road, that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I just have to drive from Colorado sometimes when the logistics wouldn't work out. From Colorado, I'll drive to Vegas. And from Vegas, this was 2015, 2016, there was a company called JetSmarter. You ever heard of them? Uh-huh. So JetSmarter used to lease out private jets. They give you like a jet car time. Bro, that shit was crazy in the beginning. But their jets didn't leave from everywhere. They would leave from Vegas. So Colorado wasn't that far from Vegas. So a couple times I had to take a trip. I did that 2 times. That shit was a lot. That was like 13, 14 hours straight.
You're dropping off work in Vegas?
No, I had a couple of deals where I had just something came up where I just needed to get something back. At that time, I didn't trust the mail that much. And definitely wasn't mailing out of Yoder, Colorado. They had one post office. I'm like, hell with that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to. And I had the JetSmarter because, I just figured, fuck it, why not? Let me just do it, try it out.
Yeah.
And that shit was smooth until one time, I think it just got too much. I remember landing at Westchester Airport, and I thought they was there for me. They was there for someone else on the flight.
Wow.
Yeah, they got him with a whole bunch of cash.
The DEA?
I don't know, some feds, they had someone out there, but
you were bringing shit back on the JetSmart?
I didn't have to bring work. One time I had to brought some guns back for someone I traded to. They wanted some guns, and this guy just had them right there. So I was like, all right, fuck it, let me get that. I traded him the guns for something else.
So you were driving always? You always drove your own work?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't like people knowing my business.
Yeah, sure.
Because I like moving alone because I only got to worry about me.
Yeah.
Even when I was going somewhere, I would text people totally different shit. You know what I mean? I had so many different names because if I know you and you know me as this and you know me as that, that means I should never hear nothing between the both of you. I always kept everything separate.
And your dealers, you each had a cell phone just for you and your guy, right?
For the wholesale, yeah.
Right.
I wasn't really worried too much I had a separate phone just for the breakdown, but I wasn't really worried about that. My thing with that was like making sure they got good quality. They didn't overdose because they were people who they were like working people, 9 to 5 jobs, you know what I mean? But for everyone else, I made sure you had a phone, I had a phone.
Yeah. So you have your press up game where you're, making a nice little $25K a month, just pressing up bricks and with the cut and moving those to dealers in New York. Where were your breakdown game? The little towns that you used to flip? Retail. So, tell us about that.
Yeah. So I love college towns. I love like Rutgers and New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Stockton down in South Jersey. Jersey Shore was fire during the summer. I might make $30,000 and through the whole summertime off of one person down there.
Yeah.
I liked Johnson and Wales in Rhode Island, Boston, BU. That shit was West Virginia. Them frat homes in West Virginia. Woo! Them shits was crazy. I had there was a town, Outer Banks, North Carolina, had a fisherman out there. He was crazy. There's nothing but Russians out there. They I don't know what they own on product, but there's a lot of big tourism. Might have seen Outer Banks? Yeah, I was getting it in Outer Banks. That shit was good. I was selling grams out there for 80, wholesale. Not even the wholesale. He might take 200 grams, but I'm selling to for 80. You know what I mean? So that's some money right there.
To a guy that's already flipping them. You're selling them to a dealer at 80 a gram.
Yeah, I actually I knew him. I met him through someone who went to cooking school with him. They went to CIA, the Culinary Institute of America in New York. They went to cooking school there together. See, my base is all. So many people like drugs. it's like you never know. So my thing is I'm easy to work with. People want something, yo, you got someone who got this, and then you just gotta work it.
Yeah.
Once I give you something good and you trust me, and I go, here, just give me back the money for that later. People come back like, yo, I made $5,000 of what you gave me. I can't believe it. Yeah, all right, cool. I told you it was gonna work. Give me that, but here, take it again.
Right.
I would just almost make sure they didn't get ahead of themselves.
Right.
You know?
And you're giving out like just ounces at a time, or how much are you giving these dealers?
I never really sold about ounces. I used to sell by like, I used to sell about like the breakdowns. I got 50 grams or 100 grams at a time. Or if I had to bag, some people would like, I had this kid in Jersey Shore, right? He didn't like to get it like that. He liked to get it bagged out. So I used to charge him more. I just bag it out to like, 0.9s and give it out to him like that.
And what's your profit margin? Like if you're selling a guy in Jersey, say 100 grams, what are you charging him and what are you paying off of for each of those grams?
Well, after I cut it, you think my price, if it was like, my price margin is probably like $15, $16 a gram at that time. They're cutting it. If I'm charging him 40,
insane.
You're
over doubling it.
Yeah.
And plus this is coke you've cut as well.
Yeah.
So you have 1,300 grams to sell off of a kilo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so you have a whole extra brick if you're buying 5 birds at a time. Yeah, it's like an extra whatever. I mean, $70,000 you make.
If 3 turns to 5, those 2 bricks are your profit.
That's it.
I had one or two customers down there at Wall Street. I was charging them $150 a gram. They wouldn't buy that much, but they would buy like, I bet you gotta buy me 10. $1,500 of the raw. You know what I mean?
Every time.
Yeah, but that right there only cost me like, $350 because they buying 10.
Right.
But their number's gonna be that.
Right.
But they liked it.
And they like, the Wall Street guys like the best coke they can get.
He liked it raw. He lived right on Gold Street. He had a big ass apartment there. He used to hit me up for that. Molly, all that shit. Yeah. Another quick tip right here. When that Molly was coming in, we made wild money on that. Everyone thought that shit was Molly. That crystal shit, that shit's not Molly. That shit was coming from China. I seen that shit. My boy brought him in. He bought like 7 keys for I think like $7,000. I remember selling them, each one of them just for $25,000. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Kilos?
Yeah. Because it's some synthetic, whatever that synthetic shit is.
I've taken those. Yeah, the crystal Molly, that's no good though?
No, it's methylone. It's like something like that.
It made me tweak out a little bit. Like it made me feel great, but I had the coke jaw, like sore teeth, and it makes you grind a little bit. So you're saying that's not the real Molly from the Netherlands or wherever.
Yeah, that's where you get the good stuff. I had someone else who was big into the house scene. We used to get mad money at Pasha. I don't know if you remember this club downtown Manhattan.
Pasha, yeah, that's a big. I went to the one in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
All right, yeah.
So first time I ever did coke was in Argentina at Pasha. Pasha, they call it.
Yeah, anyway. That shit was crazy. And we got a lot of money. But hey, he was big into that scene, so he used to get his shit from Germany. Because he used to like to do it.
Right.
And he's the one who taught me, like, nah, that ain't even Molly, get that shit out of here. Because he was showing me the real shits. And that's how I learned it from him.
Wow. So how can you get that in quantity in the United States, or does it just come like small pieces?
I don't know. that was something we never really, like, he liked that for his personal shit. But he used to sell, some blow for me out there in Pasha and shit like that in some clubs. K was like a big market for them. I didn't get into that, but I didn't even know what that was. Right. But I know he used to do a lot. He used to sell a lot of that shit too.
Wow. So you got your hands in a couple of different pots.
Yeah, everything had like a run, but the most consistent for me over the years was the coke for them years. And then it all came to a head during COVID. Like, you know what I mean? It was it was crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie. It was that was a time that was, man, get ready. That's what we made the movie about.
Yeah, so COVID was where you and a lot of hustlers made a lot of money very quickly because the supply just
it was
shrunk overnight.
Let me put it like this. COVID, right? 2020, it was at January 2020. Figure December 2019. Wholesale bricks of cocaine in New York City was going for about 28,000, right? By April, that shit went to 50,000.
Yeah.
So when that shit first started coming, I had about 5 joints, right, for my regular customers.
Right.
I wasn't greedy. I wasn't crazy. I gave it to them the same number. But then it's like, damn, I really can't get no work. But then the people who had work, because people had a couple bricks here and there.
Right.
Yo, how much can we cut this out? Because people were starving. People was like, yo, we starving. So me and my man was like, let's just hit him one time and then the shit will go back to normal. Let's get some dollars, you know?
Right,
I ain't gonna
right.
say grimy shit, but if I'm telling you the coke was garbage, there ain't no one out there can say I lied to him.
Right.
I said the coke is garbage, but the customers was you know.
Right,
if
but
I
there's
tell-
none of it. So
None of it. So I took one brick, we made 10 out of one.
so it's 10% Coke, 90% cut.
Yeah.
Holy
Even with the
shit.
comeback cut, even with the Masu, that shit really wasn't getting hard. It was coming like a gel. Wow. You know what I'm saying? But
And are you selling that wholesale?
yeah, I wholesaled that.
Okay, so then what do you sell a 10% Coke brick for?
I sold them for 30. For 30.
And how much had you paid for that brick?
We paid 50,000. Oh, it was my partner. He had it. He got it for 50.
Okay.
So we made, or 40 for 45. I think 45. So, you know, we made
$300,000
Yeah,
off of one key
Off of one joint.
wholesale.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, went to the jeweler. Blew a bag after that. shit.
Immediately, right?
Yeah, your little bag. But then after that happened, people started, all right, so we got mad complaints and shit. And now I'm to y'all, make it better. And I didn't lie to no one. I said, look, if you're taking this as a one-way street, we will make it better.
Right.
But then, okay, it calms down. We're getting a couple more. Brick numbers are still expensive. So instead of taking 3, turning them to the 5, 3 was coming to 6. They were turning to 6. And people were asking me, yo, can you, I remember people bringing 10, 15 bricks. You know them big cement mixers? The cement, that's how we was cutting the coke. We was putting 10 bricks in there at a time with 10 keys of cut, turn it up in that cement mixer, acetone, we were pulling them out. So it looked like paste and shit. And we just put them in the press like that. That's how busy it was. Wow. Yeah, we had my boy had a multi-family in the Bronx, man. We had a whole top floor, man. That shit was
With the big ass cement mixer that you see on construction sites.
not like I guess you could say it was a plastic bucket, but it was like made of portable ones.
Right.
I remember going to what's that? Not Home Depot, but
Lowe's.
nah, one of them other ones. Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight will get you whatever you need. You get the whole trap kit. You get the A-frame press. That's a good one. You can get the car, the 3-ton jacks. You need them to press it.
Yeah. Get you right.
Yeah, so that was so figure, let's say January to July. January to July.
You just feasted.
I put about $2 million cash in my pocket.
Profit.
Yeah.
Wow. So your man was able to get joints in, and your people couldn't sell it fast enough because there was just no competition.
We was getting up for everyone. Like, I had, it was like, people knew we pressed up joints, right? And we were trustworthy. Because people would be like, yo, say you gave me a brick and you want me to press it up.
Right.
I would charge you $500 to do that normally. Just if it's convenient for me and I know you and you give me the cut and the work. But now it's different. So it's like, yo, you want me to press them up? You got to give me one of those. You know what I mean? You got to give me one of the ones I'm pressing up.
Wow.
Or I'm going to charge you more. It's not even my time because it was on my birthday. I remember pressing all day.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like that whole year was like crazy. But the peak time in that year was from that January, or you could even say March to July.
When things were like completely shut down, especially in New York. Like everything, nothing was open, not even like outdoors.
And you remember the time you had the Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
Cops didn't give a
Right, no.
cops didn't give a everyone was inside. No one was afraid to go out.
Yeah.
I was up and down Manhattan 15 minutes. I go from Dykeman to Chinatown 15 minutes and back home.
No, it was beautiful.
No traffic.
No, you could kill whoever you want. The murder rate shot up to like early 90s numbers in New York.
I remember pulling up.
It was beautiful.
There used to be they just closed actually the BBQs in the Bronx when things started opening up and letting people outside. And they let you drink out, like they didn't give a fuck. They would let you drink outside. You know what I mean? I think Salsa Con Fuego was there. That block where it's at.
I've been there.
Yo, I tell you right now. It was like I was one of the first people who had the M850s, competition convertibles, right? I'm thinking I'm doing it, you know what I mean? I saw about 7 Lambos, a McLaren. This shit, I was like, yo, I wasn't around, and, I was born in '86, but I can only imagine and all my people was all older than me. All my partners, my sweet spot was a lot of these guys who did a lot of time who came home. I used to meet them through someone I know, and that's who my clients were.
Right.
They was in the feds for so long. They had so many clients. So all my people was like that, 50s and plus age.
So that's how they were so connected, because they did all this Fed time with all these other drug dealers.
Me, I just made it so convenient for everyone, because no one wants to go back to jail, and I was never on no dumb shit. So it was like, yo, I got you.
Right.
So we was just flowing like
so
that.
Up there in the Bronx, it looked like Paid in Full in 85.
It was.
So cats are getting money. And it sounds like the way that you were able to keep your supply up, because demand is now greater than supply, is that you knew how to press. And so you would get all these other people, you kind of were able to amalgamate all of these different sources for Coke. And then that's how you kept your own supply up. It's because you would press for other people and then get to keep work as payment.
And I had people. Then there was a lot of people here who had connects. A lot of Dominicans I knew who had connects in Cali. They was taking flights. I mean, shit, on any flight. I mean, you could imagine like
flying in with work.
No, the cash. So they fly and they just. Sometimes they drive it back. Or I've seen them. Mail is still super. You know what I mean? But I remember I've seen people packing the $600,000, $1 million, going to Cali, going to see they connect, be cash, and then bringing it back.
Just on like a commercial flight.
But they wouldn't. The cash, no problem. They still, it's easy to bring cash, but for the work, I don't know how to drive it back, whatever they would do, but they were making them points. They would make it because they were still getting work in Cali cheap. I heard. I didn't know. I never went out there for like with them. They told me they're still getting it out there for like 30. Come back here, you selling for 45, 40. You're making 10,000 each joint. And
everybody, all the customers, all the society has free money that they've just been given. Yeah,
it was free money. Them loan scammers. I mean, I was making my own money at times, so I never got into that. I was never a scammer. I didn't really understand how it works. But the ones who figured it out, these guys those are the ones, like, they might have taken home $5 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of them got caught because of the names and the paperwork. You know what I mean? Like I said, but it was a time. I can't. Every day I think about it, like, I didn't take it for granted. I knew that shit was coming to an end too. That's why I let go a lot of my breakdown flow. I didn't give a. I was making so much money. I was so like, I remember having an account one time, like $850,000. And that's a lot of money for me. I know I'm not no big time guy, but for me, that was big time. And I remember sitting there. I'm like, you got to organize all the singles, the 5, the 10s. You put it through the machine. I'm like, this shit took all day. Wow. You know what I mean? I remember sitting there and being like, this is never going to be this good.
Yeah, incredible.
But it also kind of got me thinking, like, that's what a lot of people didn't get. I'm like, this shit's coming to an end. But where I up is what I'm going to tell you how I up. So around probably like November, December of 2020, things are still going good, slowing down a little bit. Numbers are coming down a little bit. Maybe they're like 35. I'm like, I get a chance. Like, we want to buy like 20. We can get them for like 30. I say, okay. So I put out the money to buy them, right?
So you have $500,000 in re-up money.
Yeah. So I had money. So I mean, no problem. I'll buy it. But now, the thing that we hit all the work already, 1-to-1. You know what I'm saying? We took that, we took 1-to-1. Now the prices started coming down so rapidly in 2021, and the work was coming in so fast that, like, I'd say around, I'd say April, I still had, the numbers was in the 20s already, and it was raw. So I was losing customers, losing flow, and I had all this work that was pressed up that wasn't moving. So I had to continuously buy. I spent over about $200,000-$300,000 my own money just buying, trying to even out the number to break even.
So you would have to buy more Coke just to repress the bad Coke that wasn't selling.
Yeah. And that's when I said I'm done. I said it's not even worth it for me no more.
Wow.
So I stepped away.
So you lost on that whole buy of those 20 keys?
No, I mean, we got rid of it, but it wasn't a profit, and it was a process. And at that same time,
so much work.
The cops came back so strong. The feds the people was getting locked up crazy.
Yeah,
a lot of weird shit was going on, and I just said, this shit. I had a feeling one day, no, this shit's not for me. You know what I mean? This shit right there was not for me, and then I just had to start figuring out life is like a civilian,
Is that all that it took? Was just one day you said, I don't want to do this anymore?
I knew it's almost like I don't know what it's like to get high, but I can imagine you feel a certain way. So when I was counting up all that money during COVID, I was like, bro, like, it can't get better than this. I'm a realist. I'm like, yo, it ain't never gonna be this good. So I'm always gonna be chasing that. And then on top of that, the customers slow, everything's slow. And I was like, I still got some cash. Let me try to do something legit, which was totally another set of problems. You know, that's why it's like, on this whole thing, everyone watching, take the good with the bad. For me, it was I had to apply everything I learned in the streets to go legit and to do something I love, which, you know, I literally just found the films, you know, recently. But I had all this stuff that I had been through that I really wanted to tell a real story about.
Yeah.
Because everyone I know who wound up getting jammed up, not being able to figure shit out. It's something when you grown as hell and you ain't done nothing your whole life and you realize no one cares about this street shit. This shit is, yeah, okay, but now when they only care when you still have money and you helping them out, you paying for shit. But then when you can't do that anymore, it's just you, man. It's alone. So you like, what the do I do now? How do people live off of, what's the minimum wage? 20-something now. I tried to get a real job. This lady was like, take the trash out. I almost said, what the fuck? I was like, oh, that's part of the job, I guess.
Right.
Try to humble myself. But that's when I realized the films, when I started writing, I was like, let me put this. That's why the film was really about what it costs you. Think about it. I got divorced. You know, my daughter's not living with me all the time anymore. A lot of that was because, you know, what you doing in this game, it takes time.
Right.
You have fun, you're spending money, you're traveling, you other bitches, you know, you live your life, but it takes a toll on you.
You're gone all the time.
I was home a lot with my daughter, but at nights I was gone, so the wife's not mad, and wife mad.
Yeah.
I'm probably saying, you know, I'm a humble person, but sometimes your ego get the best of you in certain cases.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, bitch.
Yeah,
that's
maybe not like that, but
$2 million in a couple of months will make you say, you know what? I'm not going to be as nice to you.
It was more for me like, you know, I always had a girlfriend on the side.
Sure.
And you might have something else, like another chick, or you just maybe not hearing them all the time. You know, I'm always a respectful person, but sometimes I realize in relationships, you know, it takes time to build. So. And when I come out of it, when I stop hustling and, you know, money's getting low, because at first, you know, I stopped hustling, I didn't care. I still have money. I'm like, it'll figure itself out.
Well, yeah, talk about that. Like, did you own some property, but where did you put your profit? Did you sock it away in metals and gold, you said? Yeah, a lot of my profit wasn't gold, which did hold me over. Tell us about that real quick.
So this is a long time ago, well over the statute limitations, of course. But I used to buy ounces after my flips because I just love jewelry.
Ounces of gold.
Yeah. So go to 47th Street, make friends with any one of these jewelers who think you're your friends. You're really not friends with them, but you can get a good deal. You can buy your gold cash, right? Once you so I used to give test jewelers out like this. I just take, because you can't go there and be like, yo, I want to buy this cash because they're going to think you know, a cop under something, right? Go buy you a watch, right? And tell them, I need to borrow this watch for a video shoot. I'm going to pay you cash for it today. Right? I'm going to come back Monday with the same watch in the same condition, buy it back from me for $1,000 less. Right. You good with that? 9 out of 10 jewelers will say yes. Right? 9 out of 10. Not all of them, but 9 out of 10. So I did that like 2 or 3 times with different jewelers. And one guy was like, yo, why do you keep doing this? And I said, yo, you know what? I like, you know, wearing it. So then the next time I said, yo, you know what? Let me just give you this cash. Just give me a check. Because I noticed he would pay people with other people's checks all the time. So, right? So he's trying to avoid his taxes and do whatever.
So, you know, he's cool. This guy's willing to play ball.
I don't know if he was cool, but he was, you know.
He's willing to play.
Yeah, which that's another story. We could say that for the paid subscribers. That jeweler I'm talking about there, scumbag, and he wound up snitching on that senator, Bob Menendez in New Jersey.
Whoa.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about that maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, but all those jewelers, all those jewelers on 47th Street are all criminals. Everybody knows that.
I don't know about all of them, but we're all criminals. But I guess for me, it's like how you treat people. Yeah. If you really, I don't care what you do. As long as it's not some outlandish shit that, you know, we can't respect. But if you deal with me as a person and it's the right way, but don't try to scumbag me and throw me under the table. That's what that jeweler tried to do. He tried to set me up on some bullshit.
So you were able to, as time went on, you were able to buy gold or jewelry wholesale with cash.
Yeah, and I'll get a check back. I usually have to clean up some money.
So how does that work though? You buy it and then you sell it back to them and then they give you a check? How do you make the money turn into a check?
So I would get the gold and I'll wait, but you can't do that all the time because you got to set up your whatever account you setting up or put it in someone's name. I would say get someone you trust to open up a LLC for you. Get someone you trust to open up a business bank account. Or if it's smaller amounts, they can have it. Just, you want someone where you can put it in their account and you're going to trust them and they can leave it in there for a little bit. You know what I mean? Before you can, funnel it to something else. But yeah, I would buy the gold and you can sell it to anyone else, any jeweler. I would sell it to different people because I didn't want them knowing all my business. So I would just bring it in there and I would just say, oh, give me a check. And they would look at me crazy. You don't want cash? Well, no, give me a check.
Yeah.
Who do you want me to make it out to? I'm like, I'll make it out to this name.
The LLC.
That you could, you could even like to put it into someone's name, and then you could have it put into the stocks if you want, even better.
Right.
It's just and so you thinking.
And gold back then was like less than $1,000 an ounce. So
I think it was around like 1,100 or something like that time. You know, up to like 15, 16. That's when I stopped buying.
And so it's not like a sketchy amount. It's nothing for somebody.
And I would keep them. I would keep them for a while until I needed money for something.
Right.
I didn't really keep too much money in a bank. A couple of times I was going to buy some property with people to invest in. Mm-hmm. And, we get to put the money. All right, well, cool. Let me cash some of this gold out. Right. But, regular stuff. Like, I always say like this, you're going to get guys because they putting the spotlight on you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So even talking about this now is so crazy, but like I said, it's past the statute of limitations. I never killed anybody, nothing like that. So this is all stuff that just...
What about jewelry? You said you spent like about $1 million with your jeweler over the years.
Yeah, about $1 million I spent with them.
Talk about New York jewelers, like the guys that are really, selling diamonds and ice to rappers and drug dealers. Like, what does that look like? And yeah, I'm fascinated by the way that you can put jewelry on layaway and then buy it back. Like, explain your relationship with your diamond guy. First
of all, they're almost always gonna rip you off if you don't know what you're doing. Number one.
Yeah.
And for the jewelry that I had, I had sold that back to them so many times. Even a jeweler, I'm borrowing this from a jeweler right now. Let's keep it 100% honest with you, because it's just, I have built relationships with jewelers so they know me. You know what I mean, in that way. But when it comes to actually buying jewelry, I'd say do your homework, look around. They pull out that calculator for a reason. So whatever, take whatever casting whatever the gold weight, that's really the only thing to value. The diamonds, especially the small ones, they're not giving you anything for that. But when they love ripping off the urban community.
Of course.
Because who else is going to spend, $50,000 on a chain and then keep coming back and buying it again? That's why I always tell you could test your jeweler by saying, how much will you buy this back from me when I need money? If they tell you no, that's a good answer because they said up front. If they tell you I'll give you the same number, they're lying, and you probably gonna have to hurt that man.
Right.
If you tell them, if they tell you, you might lose 10% because I have labor costs and this
wear and tear,
that's actually a really good number. But usually on like any custom piece that you have, you're losing like 50%.
Right.
If it's an existing bust down chain or something like that they already have made, if they're not a scumbag, you probably lose 10%.
Right.
Although the values went up so much with gold that you might even make money now.
Right.
The only thing is really good is them gold Cuban links, the solid ones. Because you could have bought those, for a good number, especially if you got it from a right manufacturer.
Right.
And they appreciate over time. Watches also, I liquidated my whole watch collection during COVID.
Wow.
Because the numbers were insane.
How much did you sell your watches for total?
I almost doubled on everything I sold. I remember having like 2 Prezzies I bought, like the olive dials.
Yeah.
The anniversaries, I paid $30,000 for the rose. I paid $27,000 for the white gold in 2019. And I remember the rose one hit like 55 during. At the time, I probably was a stupid. I probably would have to sell it anyway because I needed money later. But
so you made like 100 G's. They gave you back like 100 for two watches.
Less, but it wasn't all profit. If I doubled on one, made another one.
Yeah.
I had like 2 Pateks I had sold. I had made a lot on.
So you just bought jewelry, and especially diamonds and chains, as just a way to hold the value of your cash, and then you sold it for a profit later on down the line.
I like jewelry, so I've lost a lot of money on jewelry. But when I had the intention to do it for just in a way as an investment and a way to clean up some cash, it was always gold bars.
Yeah.
Always gold ounces. I would just buy the gold ounces, and that's what it was. Everything else with jewelry, I don't care what no one says, jewelry is not an investment.
It's not.
Buy it because you like it. It's actually a stupid thing to buy. I just love it. I don't know why. We all got our vices. But
Well, most people don't know that diamonds are not that rare at all. And now I think it's getting out. The word's getting out. You can get like a lab grown diamond that is, you know, a eighth of the price of what the little African boy who's, you know, working for a warlord digs up out of the ground. So there really is no scarcity out of diamonds. It's now they can easily be replicated.
Yeah.
So the value, once people figure that out, is just should come crashing down. Where gold is incredibly scarce and difficult. They only make 1%. They only mine about 1% new gold out of the ground every year. That's why it's perfect. It's been money for thousands of years.
You know what's crazy about that? So I had a friend of mine. He's American, but he lives in Colombia. He lives in Medellin, and they have gold mines out there in Colombia.
Oh yeah.
So this was about 2021, end of 21, going to 22. I got a kilo of gold. He's like, "Yo, we got it." It was like 25% less than like you buying it here. So I'm like, "How are we gonna get it out?" I had to make it to a chain. They made it into a chain for me, and we bore it out. That was mad difficult though. I was like,
Right.
Because they was questioning the shit out of me over there. But that's my guy. He owns a tourism company out there. So,
yeah. Gold that would have been 3 times the price now.
Yeah, it was. I wish I kept it, man. You know, shoulda, woulda, coulda. It was a lot. But you learn things during the game that while I was in it. Even like, and this is not glorifying. This is just letting people know. Number one, you gotta know what you're doing. Don't get yourself into something thinking this. Anything you do, even when you're in the game, you ain't gonna blow up overnight. It's about consistency and longevity, right?
Yeah.
So I'm never gonna say it was quick. It was quick money, but I worked for that money.
Yeah.
You know, even like people always ask, how did you get a connect? How did you do this? Really, the connect will find you. I've seen so many people get up by just going out of town, look for a connect, or go into if it looks too good to be true, it always is. But if you stay consistent and build up your clientele, eventually you're gonna outgrow that one connect, and the connect will find you. Mm-hmm. That's it. Because eventually, through that person, it's gonna be willing to be there. They're not willing to take that risk anymore, or you're gonna find someone. It just will. It's just like anything. Emotion stays emotion, right?
Totally.
So if you're going down that road, just know what you're asking for, because it's gonna come.
Yeah.
And just be aware of what you're doing. Save for them rainy days. And always know, you know.
Tell us about the fentanyl, because obviously leading up to COVID is where people really started to drop dead from the bad coke that was cut with fent. How did that come into play at all with your hustle, or what you, as a coke dealer, what were you hearing and seeing in those times?
I'll tell you this, I've never seen fentanyl mixed with cocaine on a large scale. To me, that's so crazy, because maybe on like with people trying to get high, they might mix it themselves, but fentanyl is not like, it's not cheap, number one. And I don't know why you would, to be honest, I think the government maybe made that shit up or something, because I have never in my life seen fentanyl cut with cocaine, because they're totally different, you know, things to process. But with the fentanyl, I saw fentanyl came, like I said, I didn't with that shit, but obviously you see things. Yeah. So back in like 2007, I had that guy in North Carolina, he owed me some money. And he was like, "Yo, these pills is coming. Them are the Oxycontins." So he knew someone in Florida. So he put me onto this shit. I didn't believe it, so I went down there. You could sign up anyone to go to a pain clinic and say they were hurt, and they would give you $250. You know me? I take that to a pharmacy, that it would cost me like maybe $120 to fill that script.
Because you just pay somebody to go in there and say they
and it was
sick.
crazy. So we would go down there. This was like that summer of 2008. It was crazy. It was like, at the time, it was a lot of money for me. I remember making like $150,000 that summer off of this shit and being like, oh, wow. We used to go to Miami, and I was younger too, so I was having fun with it. Mm-hmm. And we would just line these fiends up. We had rented a van, like one of them work vans you pick up workers in. Yeah. Pick up these motherfuckers. People, go throw them in, you say your back's hurt, this and that. Right. We throwing them go to the pain clinics, they would be coming out, then we drive them on to the pharmacies to fill it up. We'd stay down there for about 2 weeks, get like 10,000. Wow. I bring them back up here, and I was still knocking them off for $25 a pop.
In New York?
Yeah, Jersey, New York, but you know, it was a very white drug. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I was very big in the suburbs. And then I had my boy in Boston. He's like, yo, they love these shits up here, the M30s, the M was open. He was taking all of them at a lower margin, but it was one shot. Wow. So then that lasted for a while till that one guy driving down, he up in North Carolina, was smoking in the car, cops took the money, And that was the end of that. But that's how I saw these kids get hooked on it.
Yeah.
And then I had this other guy who was giving me some coke for a while. Like, not big time. He gave me 1 or 2 keys. You know what I'm saying? He was from Queens. And he was like, yo, my people's got these too. He's like, it's just the Mexicans. They got the fake, they do the same thing. I didn't really know him. Like, wasn't super big fentanyl. Like, I didn't really know this was later. So I was like, all right. And then, you know, people say, yo, quality's good. It's not good. But that's when also I seen, like, with the heroin game, they used to use a lot of different cuts, right? For whatever reason, I think it would go bad, or I don't know. But I know this, you cannot sell dope without fentanyl in it.
Anymore.
Because the fiends want it.
Right.
That game is so up. When a fiend dies, the other fiends is like, damn, I like that shit. It's like, what the
That's the bomb, yeah.
Nah, I don't want nothing to do with that shit. And then also the suburban kids came in, and they was, you know, passing away. They was dying, but you know, it's sad to say people care more about. They got the families, so that's why to me fentanyl, look, crack only affected the urban community, right? It only affected our community because it was killing us, right? But fentanyl affects everyone because they cutting the dope with it, right? Boom, and then they also making it into pills. Yeah, they giving it to the suburban community. They dying. Right. So it's to me, it's like the most dangerous word. I actually have a script written about fentanyl too. How I seen it. Yeah. How I seen it transition and really, I don't even like saying the word, call it the F. Like, you know, that's the real F word right there.
That's the F they call it in the streets. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing has had such an impact since crack cocaine, but fentanyl's way, way deadlier than crack, which is just smokable coke, you know? So the hype around it, you know, the fear mongering is more legitimate to me than the fear mongering around crack, which is just kind of an excuse to lock as many, you know, black and brown people up as possible. But did you see, okay, so that really is interesting. There's no coke dealer would ever say, oh, I got some fentanyl. This would be a good mix. No. Like nobody's stretching their product that way.
Figure a key of some raw fentanyl, you know what I mean? Let's say you're, you know, 25,000. Do you want to go experiment with that? No. Right. You're probably going to try to cut that up and sell it as raw. I've seen people do that. Right. But you know, it's not, it's something that's, I've never in my life seen that, understood why.
Or never heard dealers putting a mix of fentanyl on coke.
No, maybe on the smaller end, maybe if you got people who are getting high and they like that shit, like that maybe.
Well, but there were a lot of people that were dropping dead of it, you know, leading up to COVID, during COVID, right after COVID. So what was that about? Do you think that's just small, just dumbass, junkie dealers?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe on like, I mean, there's definitely a lot of fentanyl overdoses for people doing dope, but as far as coke, people, you know, doing coke and even this, if I'm selling coke and you want coke, I'm gonna give you coke. You know what I'm saying? Because I want you to come back. Yeah. I don't want you to die. So that's part of it, which I never really understood. But I mean, look, anything's possible. This is just my take on it and what I seen. But even with fentanyl, it's so dangerous because I know 2 incidents where, you know, people's kids have died because they be cutting it up in the girl's house. That shit gets in the air. You gotta be masked up, gloved up. You know, to really work with that stuff.
So what do you hear now? Do you like the heroin dealers in New York, you know, the uptown guys, dudes from Queens, the guys in the Bronx, you know, those are like the communities that are really moving heroin, right? Fentanyl has to be part of their business model.
Yeah, like I said, you know, I'm pretty removed right now, but I can't imagine things changing too much. But yeah, it's once something is there, it ain't never gonna go away. Sure. You know, when you open the door with anything, you know, whatever it is, it's, you know, it's there because when there's a demand for it, and you think about it here, right? We're just talking about New York City, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, right? When you go to Middle America, you know how Middle America is. You go to Oklahoma, Kansas, even maybe parts of Texas. You know, you guys are close to the border, but there's not much to do in a lot of these places. But get high. Pittsburgh was a big market for me for a while because I know why y'all Steelers fans are crazy because there ain't shit else to do up there. Yeah. You getting high or you want to get the out of there because you know, it's sad to say that's just what they do. You know, they just get high and look, this is problems that I don't know how to change. I don't want to be in a position to know how to change it. I just know that for me, getting into film, it's to shed a light on certain stories the right way, not to glorify it. I was tired of these gun busting movies and these street movies that talk about that. Even the dissection of the dollar talks more like mentally. What I was going through at that time of COVID. When COVID happened, I was doing that for so long already.
Right.
That I was like, damn, this is God telling me, here, take this last perfect storm for you and get out.
Right.
And that's why I really felt it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, whatever you do, just leave. And
that's usually that usually means you're about to get busted or killed.
Feds took one of my boys, right?
Yeah.
And this is what really kind of another thing now. At the time, I had seen him. And he was already, 50? You know? So I'm like, when they took him, we thought he got kidnapped. He's been kidnapped before. So his son hit us. Like, yo, because they came up in an X5 in a van. Grabbed him up. We didn't hear from him for days. And then finally they contacted, after about 3 or 4 days, they contacted him, contacted his family and was like, yo, they let him, he had got arrested, whatever. And he was in MDC for a couple years before he got sentenced. But I was like, damn, that shit, I'm not going to be like 50 years old. And
you imagine that going off to do another 10, 15, 20 years stretch?
Come home 70 years old. Like, you know, like, it's a lot. So that was one of the moments for me when I was really just like, I don't even care. I think people still owe me money. I don't give a damn. I'm going to keep that shit. Hope you guys are good because it's just, and you know, and even and this is me being older, and I tell people this is young all the time, like, bro, I lived this life. I did that. Yeah, I had fun. I learned, and it made me, but it's really not something you want to do. Think about it. Like, if you just really find something you love to do at a young age, really just buckle down on that, and the money's going to come, whatever it is. Because what you lose, the relationships you lose, the stress you put your family through, I've seen a lot of people break. I don't know why, for whatever reason, I could deal with the pressure, but I've seen a lot of people break. And you're not normal. Sometimes when you go through something, you just don't come out the same way, and not a lot of people can handle it.
You're so rare. How many guys do you know like you that had 20 years in the game that didn't do any time?
I don't know anybody really. I don't know. Everyone I met, I met certain people. I never had a lot of customers. I might have had the most of the time 5, 6, like 3 to 4 wholesale customers. And I have like maybe 5, 6, 7 breakdown. But the wholesale ones, the ones who did me the best, and we still to this day are cool. Because I never did bad business, and they all came out from doing wild bids from the 80s crack laws. Right. A lot of them came home from doing 15, 20 years. When they came back, I just happened to meet them. Right. You know, through certain people that, you know, we knew mutually. And they were like, yo, that's my boy. And then once I started, they see how I moved. They were like, yo, you kind of, you know, you remind me of a lot of shit. And but I never once thought that I was anything like, I never had that ego like I'm the man. Because I knew once if you're not humble in life, yo, life humbles you way harder. And that's what when you're doing something illegal too, like, yo, you best count your blessings. I was always waiting for the other foot to drop. Always. You know what I mean? Like,
so what do you think you lost? Because there is this, like, I do believe in this, like, universal law of justice, to where justice always comes, maybe not directly, you know, like instant karma, but things will always return to equilibrium and what is right. Right will always win in the end. What do you think you lost since you didn't do any time? You got out with your life. What did the drug game take from you? What kind of justice did you have to serve from all that time in the game?
It definitely jaded my reality of how things in life work. Because no matter what, all them years when I was living like that, right? Put it like this: most people don't see any money until they're in like their 30s or 40s, right? I was making money at a young age, so it jades you to think. Like, you know, that's why even when I got out of the game, what the am I gonna do with a 40-year-old man, grown man? I got no formal education. I just have myself. So I really had to, these last couple of years, been mad hard because you're trying to figure out what to do next. Right. It's not as easy just opening up a business. I've tried. But it's just the fact, for me anyway, I have to love what I do. And not saying I love selling drugs, but I love the fact that I was doing something that worked well.
Yeah,
I
of
built
course.
up a business.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in my control, but the things that weren't in my control ended that business. So when you're trying to find yourself and, seeing how you can live and by doing something legit, it's like, okay, that's one way. Another thing that cost me a lot of relationships. There's 3 or 4 people that I really love to this day that, they're not here anymore. They got 2 other people that I don't know when they coming home or even where they are. One, I don't know where they are. So that's why I always say, when you meet someone in the streets, then you get money and you really, like, you giving me 100, I'm giving you 100. And if you have the opportunity to f me over and you didn't, and I had the opportunity to f you over and I didn't, that bond can never be broken. Cause it's like, there's people I've met for months or even like a year that I see him today, it's whatever you need, because that's how strong that love was.
Yeah. So you made real friends in the game. A few of them.
More than that, because it's everyone I dealt with, you knew where my family's at. You knew where I live. I didn't believe in that, except if they was out of town and shit. Like, but in general, the ones who was closest to me, they know every. Cause I didn't like talking on the phone. Yo, pull up at the crib. Let's go work out at the gym. Let's go do this. I'm just gonna pull up on you. It wasn't like I wasn't lying to you, so I'm not scared. Because it's like, you gotta be a sucker if I'm showing you love and you're not showing me love back. And once we get past the point that you establish that respect, it's all good, brother. Whatever I can do for you, I'm gonna do, because I already see your character. What's good for you is good for me. And that's just how I move.
And they ended up going away, a couple of those close guys.
A couple of them, yeah. Guys. I got one of them, I don't know where he's at.
Wow.
And that's something you don't process till later, or there's a lot of situations that, you find yourself in where you don't realize it till later. You don't, you don't really realize it till later, like, oh, that shit affected me. You know what I'm saying? I remember getting into a shootout. Someone shot at my car when I was like 18. We was just driving, and at the time, you're like, whatever, I didn't get hit, I'm good. And then you realize later, I'm more paranoid. I mean, I'm thankful for it, because it allows, not paranoid in a way like you scared, but more like you aware.
Right.
But you can either, for me, I'm thankful all these situations happen, because now I'm very aware, like everything, what I'm doing. But I've seen some people totally bug out off of that. You know what I'm saying? They go too hard, or they just make irrational decisions. So it's like, it's how you handle it. Even relationships with family members.
Did your family, your extended family, or your parents, did they know what you were doing all those years?
I think, people aren't stupid. I left my home at an early age, but you see me come back with a Benz, you know what I mean, or this and that.
You had to cut a lot of hair.
It doesn't really. And then even my daughter. There was times my daughter used to be like, I remember I was in the car, and she snuck in the back, and I had popped open the stash. She was like, whoa, what's that? It's so cool. And I was like, oh, shit.
She saw the Coke.
No, she didn't see that. I was just working the box. I had a box. And at that time, it was one of them Accord SUVs, and the box was in the back. So I was hitting the switches, and the box popped open. And the things like, she'd be like, what's that? Or why you always have 3 phones? Or what do you do when you go to school? I'm a family person. Like, I love my daughter to death. So it's like, and even though our marriage wasn't good, it probably wasn't going to work from the beginning anyway. But we had a good relationship. But it's, you can't bring these people to the house. I don't know them. Or what is this? Or careful what you tell your family. Or this and that. So everything comes at a price. It ain't never gonna be, the grass ain't never green on the other side, because if it was, you'd be there. Even now, figuring it out with the making the decision to make movies and films, all I knew was I loved it. Once I saw writing something and I seen it come to life on the screen, and like my peers like, yo, you doing something that's right. You can tell a story. Like,
That's amazing. So how did you start writing? What gave you that spark to say, oh yeah, I want to write a movie?
I was frustrated. Nothing was working. I opened like 3 businesses. They weren't doing well. I just didn't give a about them. I tried getting a regular job. That shit, I take my hat off to people that work regular jobs, and I didn't even know what minimum wage was. I just, sometimes I might have made 20, 30 a month, but I probably sometimes made more. It's because you don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just buying whatever you want within reason. But like, it's, I never really spoke about it before. So the statute of limitations is up, so I can talk about it now in the mood. But I started writing out of frustration. And I thought, what better time to write about than no one spoke about COVID. It's like, I don't know what was going on in the rest of the country or the world, But I know you couldn't move like we was moving. Like even in Manhattan, the tourist areas was dead. But you went uptown, it was like crazy.
Yeah.
Triple park, everyone's partying, and the coke was flying, the scammers were flying, every drug was selling crazy.
Right.
People was getting money. And I was like, yo, this is like another world. So let me write about, but also my feelings, what I was feeling at the time was, I was never really happy. Even though my wife was getting on my nerve, we wasn't, I'm like, wasn't treating each other right. My family, it wasn't feeling good. As much as I wanted to help people, what I'm doing is illegal. And it's not like I got $100 million. I got a 1 or 2. But even then, at that time, you're like, yo, I 1 or 2. What am I going to do next? It's not going to last me my whole life. So that's kind of how I always thought about it. So I just was writing out of frustration, out of like, this is what I'm going through right now, what I'm feeling. And I just shelved it for a little bit. I used to box a lot when I was young. I still box now, but so I started trying to train people, try to make some money, you know what I mean, to do some training. I wound up training this girl. She's an executive producer for different shows. And, she lived not far from me, so I'll be training her. And I was telling her about the idea a little bit. And she said, girl, I like it. Let me see it working. And she offered me some money for it. So I said, in my mind, I'm still a businessman. So I'm
for the
like,
script. She offered you money for the script. Wow.
So
that's rare.
But they don't pay me. I give $1,500 for it.
Right.
I'm like, what am I do with that?
Right.
So I said, you know what, let me do short films. So I just found like some whacked out cameraman that lived in my building. I got him. I put together the short film and I put it back out on YouTube to see what people would say, and people liked it.
Right.
I did 3 of them. I did a focus group, spent money to make a focus group to see how that would go, just to see what the reaction would be.
Right.
And then the lady offered me another. She said, I'll give you $5,000 for it. That's when I knew I had something. I said, let me make a movie. Let me see how much it makes to make a movie. So I took kind of like the last bit of my money I had, made a movie, put some of it on a credit card, whatever. Just like everyone else chasing a dream, I look at it like I'm just, even though I did all this other shit, who cares? I don't got that shit no more. I'm in the new shit. I'm here to learn, but I'm also here to know like, yo, my ideas is different. Nobody my ideas. Because it's real life people's stories, bringing it together. And my goal is to put these out, and I'm figuring out distribution now and waiting for the money to come out. And I'm learning people like yourself, Johnny. I look up to you. You put something successful together. So anyone in entertainment that's actually putting things that are successful together, I want to work with you. I want to link up with you because I want to work and learn so I can put my peoples on.
Yeah. So
I got a lot of people that I love that, who are smart. They just always kind of looking to me, even though they're older than me or whatever, they looking to me to, what can we do? A lot of people I know, they're doing a lot of shit. So, here, let's do something we can do legitly, legally, and feed our families. And what's more beautiful than that?
So we're pre-recording this, obviously, but by the time it comes out, where can folks find the movie?
So the movie's definitely going to be on Tubi, 100%.
Okay,
and
cool.
It's looking like it's going to be able to be available for sale on Amazon Prime. But I'm going to put it on Tubi first so they have the exclusive.
Right.
I'm trying to get a line to 50 Cent. If you know anyone knows him, I would love to work with 50.
Yeah,
I got something in the works right now.
Yeah.
Because my ideas are great. And I said, I'm trying to really bring back them feel-good movies, like the comedy we doing, the next one. But for this right here, this was definitely the passion project. It's like my resume to the world.
And what is the name of it?
Name is Dissection of the Dollar. You can see the, obviously, I'm going to bring a copy of the trailer, like I said. It's also on my Instagram, which is Get Yours 1000. People don't understand that name either. Like, yo, why'd you get yours? GET_yours_1000. But I wanted to do something like just when I made the Instagram. Like I said, it's my first year having Instagram.
It's wild.
And I was like, you know what? When I got it, I never got less than 1,000. And when I got it, I don't do nothing less than 1,000%. So it was like Get Yours 1000. So that was my IG name.
Yeah.
Put together the promotional company Always in Motion with 2 L's. So double the lessons we learned.
Wow. So you really love this stuff. You really love movie making and writing, which is great. It's a powerful thing being able to write.
I love writing, and I write in a different way. Just that everyone out there wants to know. I don't even know how to type. So I just write everything on paper. Like, I write it. Like the first movie I did write that 100% myself, and I gave it to a professional writer to transcribe it. But I write out a whole detail, like how I want the movie to start, how I want the high point, the low point, the ending. And I put together a character list. and then I write by hand like certain, or I'll just talk and she'll type it, like certain specific scenes that I want in there to establish character points and subplots, and then she puts it all together.
You know who does that? Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, no way, really?
He used to just write out, he wrote Pulp Fiction, or even Reservoir Dogs, his first film, by hand, just scribbled it, and then he gave it to his assistant to put together into a script.
I feel that's crazy. I feel like you got to empower people. If you're good at something, you got to do what you're good at. I don't know. It's like building a house. Like I know how to hire people or get people around me who are skilled, and I'm not trying to micromanage people. My real goal, once I can bring these people's stories to lives, is like I know so many people that I want to partner with them to write scripts so they can have a part ownership, and then I can have this production company shoot it. And so if I can get 4 or 5 films out or series out in a year, and I could just manage it, because that's my ultimate goal, my skill quality. I'm a people's person. For whatever reason, it comes naturally to me to just manage how things go. It just, whatever it is, it's all right, this person is good at their skill.
So you've got the personality of a producer. That's what a producer does. So go get Dissection of the Dollar on Tubi. It'll be available on Amazon shortly after the Tubi drop. But for our followers and listeners that are watching this, we'll have the link up. Obviously, go follow Polo Cisneros, get _yours 1000. You'll be promoting it. You know what I mean? But the first thing people could do and should do is go watch Dissection of the Dollar on Tubi, and then, we'll see what comes next. They say your first film is to do the next film. That's what they tell early filmmakers. You do your first film so you can get the next one. So we got links to 50. So we're going to get you in the door.
I appreciate you, my brother. And that's crazy how you said that. So the one thing I'll say about this is, like, when I decided to do the movie, say building a house, right? You could finesse me once, but once I saw how much people finessed me after I finished the movie, I said, oh man, I ain't never working with these people again.
Right.
Yeah. But hats off to the PAs, the talent, everyone. It's people like yourself, man. I really appreciate it.
It's awesome. I hope it goes very well. And dude, it was a pleasure to sit down with you, man.
No, thank you. Can I do one shout out real quick?
Please do.
I got to shout out a good jeweler out there, a legit jeweler, someone who only helped me after I got out the game, didn't even meet me with money. My guy Freddie over there at Juliana's in Paramus, New Jersey, man. He a solid guy, only does straight up business, and if you need him, check him out.
That's it, man. If you want a deal on jewelry, you can't be on 47th. You got to go to Paramus.
Yeah, there you go.
That's where you get a little price break, dude, for the drive.
You already know.
Hell yeah, Polo Cisneros, and we're gonna jump over to the Patreon now and do a little more. Have another chat. Patreon.com/The Connect Show. Polo Cisneros on Tubi right now. Dissection of the Dollar. We'll see you next time. Peace.